Okay, today I want to talk some more about opposition and what's going on this wheel, and there's a couple different things I want to show you. We'll start here. Capricorn is opposite Aquarius. I'm at Cancer. This is the cardinal cross. And then you have Aquarius, this opposite Leo. This is the fixed cross. Capricorn is the creator, and Cancer is the destroyer. Aquarius is the heavenly king, and Leo is the earthly king. Aquarius is motto of knowing. You know here, and the symbol for Leo, the lion, is Babylon, confusion. This is ruled by the sun, and Cancer is ruled by the moon. Here, both of these are ruled by Saturn. So you have these two houses that connect to these two houses. In the time of Leo was before the flood, and Cancer was the flood. So you have creation, destruction. You have knowing, you have confusion, and we're coming into this age. We're right here on the marker, right between the two. And it's always darkest before the dawn. And this is considered the golden dawn or the golden age, ruled by Saturn. I want to show y'all something else. Let me come to another chart over here. Erase all that. Okay, this wheel is set up in a funny way. I would like it to be sitting straight up, but I can't get it to do it. But these two are ruled by Saturn. And then you have Jupiter here on either side. Jupiter ruling Pisces and Sagittarius. And then Mars rules Aries and Scorpio. And then Venus rules Taurus and Libra. And then Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. So it's like a set. Let's see if I can do it on a more blank one. Why can't I change my picture page? It won't let me. Okay, let's erase this. So your wheel looks like this. You have Saturn at the top with Jupiter on either side, and then Mars on either side of that, and then Venus on either side of that, then Mercury on either side of that, with the sun and the moon. Sun and the moon. And it's set up so symmetrically, the way this is done, that if this is why I am talking about sticking with the alchemy, doing astrology rather than the traditions that are passed down through the different cultures. Because it's pure, it's symmetrical, it's perfect in its layout, and it's actually perfect as an alchemical magic circle, what it does to humanity as it brings us through the different ages. A lot of the hype, hoopla, propaganda, confusion, starting way back over here. We can follow these symbols in the legends. There's a legend for each house of the zodiac, and how you identify who you're talking about in any work are the elements, which is where alchemy come from. It's elementary, it's the elements, it's the elemental table, and we're talking about fire, water, earth, and air. When you're reading a Bible or a Quran or any other religious or encoded texts, first thing you have to do is always find the element. And then you have the rulers of those elements. The sun with Jupiter and Mars rules all fire signs. The sun rules all fire signs. The moon is the other power player. And the moon with Jupiter and Mars rules all water signs. So all fire and water is designated by the sun and the moon, Jupiter and Mars. All earth and air signs are ruled by Saturn, and under Saturn are Venus and Mercury. Another funny thing, Saturn rules all fixed and cardinal signs. All mutable signs are ruled by Jupiter and Mercury. They rule the fixed cross. The cardinal and the cardinal and the fixed ruled by Saturn because he outranks the sun and the moon, which are cardinal and fixed down here, cardinal and fixed up here. But Jupiter and Mercury, they're the two mutable ones. Mutable means change. We're in the mutable cross right now. That's why there's so much chaos and so much change. But order comes out of chaos. There's a funny way to look at this order, because I'm telling you it's not order out of chaos, it's the order. It needs to have that designation there to change it from an adjective, a descriptive word of order, to a proper noun or a title. Because there can be only one. And right now we have many orders, many lodges, many guilds, many fraternities, and they're all of these. But we're fixing to move into one order because it's all ruled by Saturn. What is it doing? Let me get it back here. Nope. Alright, well, let me turn that off. There we go. That didn't work out too well. I lost the picture altogether. See if I can get it back. Okay, we're going to use this one here. I want to answer a question somebody asked me. If Aquarius is the water bearer, why does he rule an air sign? Why is it not a water sign? And Scorpio, which is ruled by Mars, and a scorpion, which has nothing to do with water, why is it in a water sign? That's part of the encoding. That's part of the confusion that came out of Babylon. The story is actually told to us in the Bible, but you don't really understand it because a lot of the symbols have been changed. Scorpio, I've said many times, used to be an eagle, and Libra is a serpent. It's where you get that serpent knowledge. It's balance, it's harmony, it's the hidden wisdom of the heavens. It's that fiery bronzed serpent on the pole. When I was talking about Jupiter and Mars, I meant Jupiter and Mercury ruling that mutable cross. Let's see if I can get this here. Ruling this mutable cross right here. This big red X. These are the times when change comes in alchemy. And after the change, you get the quintessence, the essence of a thing. It's a part of purification. You're changing it and you're drawing out the best of a thing in alchemy. Its elemental base, its properties, what it's made of, so that you can extract that pure quintessence. And that only happens on the mutable cross. When we came out of the flood, we went into Gemini, which was the mutable heavens. The heavens had changed, so they had to redo the zodiac. Before, we had high technology and knowledge, and all of this was done through these ages with solar astrology. After the flood, we got the Picatrix in ancient, what we call lunar astrology, because in the age of Gemini, ruled by Mercury, who is Buddha, Thoth, Hermes, that's when all this knowledge came down. And a lot of that knowledge, it's encoded. It is talking about astrology. It's talking about alchemy. It's talking about as above, so below. What this big wheel is in the sky is what happens to us down here. I'm going to say it again. This wheel is a magic circle. The purpose of alchemy is to change lead, Saturn, to gold, the sun. It's almost like they're trying to change it back, or changing the which, if you look at it the other way, is exactly right. Going from confusion into knowing. Making Saturn the sun. In my opinion, based on the legends and the alchemy, Jupiter is a false god trying to hold this title because he's a failed star. Jupiter is a gas giant. It's called a brown dwarf. It burnt out fast, if you say. It never really got ignited. And it's demonizing the crap out of Saturn because it don't want us to know. Aquarius is about knowing, and if we know, game over here. The ones ruling this mutable cross. The mutable cross, I said, is ruled by Jupiter and Mercury. This thing ain't worth the crap. Now, these two, in palmistry, another subject that is encoded about astrology. Jupiter is your forefinger and Mercury is your pinky. So when you see people putting up what they call the sign of the devil, it's not Saturn, it's Jupiter and Mercury. Because everything is linked to everything else. I had no intention of becoming an astrologer. I did not even believe in astrology. But I had the opportunity to study alchemy, which I did not understand at all until everything in language pointed to the heavens. Everything in alchemy started pointing to the heavens. Everything in palmistry started pointing to the heavens. The tarot deck is all set up over the heavens. And once I was able to put all those pieces together and learn what was related to everything else using the elemental table, then it all became clear. And you can do this too. Anybody can do this. It's almost child's play. If we did not know how to read, if we had never been taught to read that alphabet, we would be able to look at these symbols as children and put together what goes together. It's real simple. Our brains were even taught to do it if you grew up watching Sesame Street. One of these things is not like the other. Which one is it? Do you know? To me, what is not like the others is the mutable cross. It stands alone in its own way. What's not like the others is Saturn. He's different than all of the other symbols on there. They're all symmetrical. He's the only one that rules two houses side by side. Hold on, I want to do another video because we're going to go into the yugas, the Kali Yuga and all of that. We're going to look at this from the Vedic wheel of the yugas, talking about the golden age and what's coming. There's a lot of doom and gloom that's being put out by these guys These Jupiterian guys, stop that. I hate it when it does that. Go back. The Jupiterian faction, because they rule all of the information on this planet. We can't trust anything. They've rewritten history. They've rewritten everything. But what they cannot rewrite, they can change the images on this zodiac, but they can't change the will and the alchemy behind it. And they wrote the script. You live by the words, you die by the words. And that's where they're headed. Now, they know what's coming up, and they've got every iron in the fire that they can. They plan on winning no matter the outcome. They're playing both sides. The only thing they cannot control is karma, and she's got their number. They think they'll get away with it, but they won't, because they have bad karma. Hopefully, a lot of us that are having really hard times now, it's good people having really hard times. And it's almost like we've got bad karma. But to me, it's like a cleansing or a purification. Sometimes we actually take on the karma of others. I'll explain. In the Vedic tradition, some of their teachings, not all of them, because it's not all one, they cover all 12 houses in their teachings. And again, you think they're talking about one God or one religion. No, it's many, many, many. It's polytheism. But they have a tradition that you don't give money to the beggar who don't work because it's his karma. And that if you do, you're taking on the karma of that person. And in our teachings under Christianity, we do just the opposite. We are required, yes, you are your brother's keeper. If you do it unto the least of these, you've done it unto me. I don't believe, I know there's a big teaching about what you call past karma. But are you talking about DNA karma? Are you talking about spiritual karma? Because they're two separate things. I'm quite aware that my spiritual collective and my DNA collective are two different entities. Just like my body is different from my soul. My light body is different from my flesh body. They're two different entities. They come from two different completely places. Jupiter rules all things that are flesh. Saturn rules all things that are spiritual. And we need to learn to identify and separate the two. We're moving from the God of the flesh to the God of the spirit. That life source, even the breath of life. Breath comes, you can't see it, you can't touch it. It comes from Saturn. He gives life to the lifeless entity. It's the soul part of you. It's the conscious part of you. It's the aware part of you. And your subconscious. With Saturn and Saturn and Jupiter being the big power players here, ruling these 4 ages from Pisces straight through Sagittarius. They're really, really the ones in control of it all. Now, as we move into Aquarius, we're going to deal with this certain star, Fomalhaut. Fomalhaut is considered Thalum, which is a play on words for the lamb. And in this, we're told in Christianity that all things are put under Thalum for 2 ages, for Capricorn and Aquarius. So it's almost like Saturn steps aside. All that the Father has, He gives to me. I lose nothing. And all things are put under Him. Nobody gets to the Father but by me. You got to go through Aquarius. You got to go through the King sign. That's the ruling house. Just like Jupiter ruling Pisces, and that's where they get their divine right to rule. Well, their divine right to rule is coming to an end. very, very quickly. When you talk about Aquarius and Capricorn, Aquarius is the king and Capricorn is the queen. Leo is the king, the sun, and the moon is ruled by Cancer, the queen. The sun and the moon are the king and the queen, and Capricorn and Aquarius are the king and the queen. So you have a red man that's a king and a black woman that's a queen. We're being given this right now. How many of you can see the play in it? The Tudors changed their name to Wind Czar to be the czars of the age of wind or air. Harry or Henri is redheaded, and his new girlfriend, the new queen, has black hair. Can any of you see this? Do you see what they're doing in the media? And it's all staged. These people are not real kings and queens. Just like the Pope, he's an imposter. He's an imposter. He's a phony baloney. Because the title of the Pope is the Cardinal of the Earth, and that belongs to the Queen, Capricorn. That belongs to her. And its place on the earth is North America. That's Mexico, United States, and Canada. The king, he rules South America. All of it. And together, they make up this goat with one horn that comes from the west in the book of Daniel. The one horn is Saturn. The one horn is Stellarium. That one power, that one force, that one authority. And in the word authority is the author. And so the fake authority, Stellarium is the one that pulls the words from the tones, the swords from the stone. He is King Arthur. And we're going to meet him. He's coming. And he is definitely not these fake ones coming out of the age of illusion, confusion, delusion that has been perpetrated from the time Jupiter entered this system back in Sagittarius. We're coming all the way around this wheel. And that's where we're headed. I hope I didn't make too much of a mess of this, and I hope y'all understand what I'm trying to explain here about this wheel, about this magic circle that we're in, and what all's going on. And now the sun. A lot of people want to talk about Freemasonry and sun worship. It's not what you think. The sun itself is not being worshipped. It is what the sun translates. That's the best word I can find. The light from the heavens is translated to the earth by the sun. Some people want to say, what about the moon? No, the moon actually has no light of her own. She is lit by the sun. So we have the heavenly sun and the earthly sun. We have a heavenly moon and an earthly moon. We have a heavenly queen and an earthly queen. We have a heavenly king and an earthly king. The sun and the moon belong, we're in that system. It's earthly. Another thing I want to talk about too is the symbol of the eye. A lot of people think the eye is the sun. The eye is in the middle of the circle. And when we do astrology, we do not put the sun in the middle of the circle. The sun travels this path. It is the earth that is in the middle of the circle. We live inside the eye of a blue-eyed giant. The symbol of the earth is the eye in alchemy, not the sun. That is why in the Freemason temples you see the sun pillar and the moon pillar, the square and the compass with the eye in the middle. The square and the compass representing the sun and the moon, the circle and the square. All of this is going to be coming out. Everybody's going to know everything as we move into the age of Aquarius. The age of Aquarius is about knowing and knowing spiritual things. We will all be triggered. Our frequencies are changing. Our DNAs are changing. The planets are changing. The chakras are changing. And everything's going to change. Over here we have Mars in Aries. Let's make war. Over here we have Mars in Scorpio. Let's make love. Over here we have Jupiter in Pisces with religion, delusion, blind faith. Over here he's the fire in the mind. He's the good guy over here. Jupiter and Mars are good guys here. Venus is Lucifer, the wisdom of the heavens here. And it's all been demonized on this side. We've been in the dark ages. Alright, next video coming up on the yugas of the Vedic tradition. So it'll make a lot of this more clear.